Oh, TV's Will Heron. We love TV's Will Heron. Everybody needs to go. Will Heron is one of the best clippers in the Dabbleverse. Everybody needs to go follow Will Heron. Thank you for watching on X, but his channel is on YouTube. It's great stuff. Shout out Steel Toe Morning Show. Shout out Nick Rekieta. Shout out Ann. I think that's the girl's name that goes and records Nick at Court. But Will Heron's doing some good stuff. But yes, Dave and I is going to be there. It's just a really sad event. And I think there's going to be more sad events. So this is why we have to all go and do this real quick. Why Will's in the chat. This is why we can all get all bent out of shape every day about the impending apocalypse or whatever the hell you want to say is going to be, the end of us all. But for me, how I like to reduce stress. This is how I like to reduce stress. Let's see. This is how I like to reduce it. There's a couple clips I want to play. Let's see. Let me go to videos.
We can leave Nick alone at this.
This is Will's channel. It's a great channel.
Like, he's gone radio silent. Things are bad. Of all the the gossip and the news.
Everybody go to Will's. Let's.
Optic Nerve says that noisemaker sounds like Nick's nose. That's I think you can. We can leave Nick alone at this point, can't we? Like, he's gone radio
a little bit.
Silent.
He's doing bad.
Bad.
I feel bad for him.
Of all the the gossip and the news and the sources, people snaking him and everything, and the info that's coming out of that, like it's gonna be years of hell. And I think he's pretty much retired at this point. I think it's kind of it's like an athlete you hate and wondering when he's going to come back, and you're like,
somebody said Steel Toe is a cuck. Well, yeah, technically he is. He wife swapped, so yes. And but I think Aaron is actually a pretty nice, funny guy. I'm not just saying that. I know everybody thinks I'm just trolling when I say that. I'm trolling a little bit, but I do think Aaron is. I laugh at this is what I do to stress, get a nice stress relief. Is I'll sit here and I'll watch Aaron's clips. Talking about Nick and talking about how he's wife swapping, because at least he does own it. I mean, he does make himself out to be the hero in a lot of these stories, which is probably not always the case if we're being real, Aaron. But I do think Aaron got bamboozled by April and Nick, and I think Aaron was a little bit of a victim. He probably should have never let this happen. He had probably a marriage that was not heading in the right direction, and he thought at the time what he was doing was right. I do believe that. And then ended up being a horribly wrong decision. And I do think Aaron's actually learned from it. I mean, I don't know why I'm putting him over so much, but I don't think Aaron would do this again. But it's still memorable content. Aaron's hooking up with the biggest law tuber, and then the law tuber is getting arrested for coke, and the law tuber's son or daughter is getting testing hot for coke. I mean, it's just, you couldn't make this stuff up. You literally could not make this stuff up. So let's see what he has to say, though.
Like, he's not coming back. Like, it's done. He's got bigger fish to fry.
I think Nick could come back
in life than streaming. He can't handle internet people. He argues with people with 2 followers on Twitter. How do you?
Well, I think that's the reason why Nick could come back, because he's anal retentive enough where right now he's not in the right headspace. He probably does need to take a step back and work on himself. But this is just me disagreeing with Aaron. Aaron could be right, but I think I am right. I think Nick could come back if he took enough time off, got clean. People like success, comeback stories. They like the Robert Downey Jr. story. So I don't know. I mean, if he came back and was doing the exact same thing and getting in trouble again, no, he's not gonna. But if he does clean his act up, Nick does, and he focuses and gets dialed in and starts making content again, I don't think it would be impossible for him to come back. I don't. I think he would have some fame and notoriety, and I think that he would have to do some interesting stuff. He'd have to create some interesting streams again, and he's alienated a lot of law too, but he could probably win some of their favor back. So yeah, I don't know. I don't tend to agree that Nick Rekieta is totally finished. At the moment, he's not doing well, but that's life. And I would tell this to Nick, and I would tell this to Aaron. He had some low points. Sometimes you're going to have low points. You just got to get through them. And that's what makes the high points better, is getting through the low points. And that's just part of life. It's not easy. And how he handles this, he's going to come out of it stronger no matter what. He's either going to come out of it and say, hey, I want to clean my life up, or he's just going to be a stronger, more hardened drug addict that continues to drug run his life. But he will come out of it stronger. And the next time that Nick potentially goes to jail, it'll be easier, because that's what happens to these people. They get institutionalized, and you get in trouble. So you're used to getting in trouble, and you're used to the court system. It becomes more normal. So either way, he's going to be more used to future criminal incidents if that happens for Nick, or if he gets clean, he'll still have the ability to be successful. And I do believe that.
do you think he's going to do when he fires up a stream and the only people giving him money or in his chat are people talking about, you coked out your kid and you're a piece of shit and blah, blah. He's going to lose his mind. He's going to blow his probation. He's going to drink and do drugs because of all the stress and everything else.
Maybe he does, though.
He's better off this way, I think.
I think Nick is really wealthy, and the fact that he foreclosed on his house is probably that because he's a wealthy guy and probably grew up with, decently wealthy family, was able to go to law school, which is expensive and all this stuff, that he probably doesn't have a good, and he's going to watch this clip and be like, Alex doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm really good with money. But usually if you're rich, you don't look at money the same as if you're poor. And because he didn't come from a poor background, maybe he thinks it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's why he didn't pay his $300,000 reverse mortgage or whatever he did, because his house is supposedly already paid for, free and clear. So I'm just saying, Nick's probably not the best money manager because, it hasn't been something he's had to be very strict about managing until now, until his legal fees with his monograph lawsuit and his criminal court and his family court and his wife getting popped and his new girlfriend and you. So yeah, once he gets clean and dialed in, I think Nick could have a comeback, but that's a lot of work he's got to do. He's got to do a lot of work, but I wouldn't put it past him. And Aaron, you got to keep streaming. You got to keep talking about it. Sadly, you kind of do have to grift off it because it is interesting. And there's going to be more revelations for all this. So shout out to Will Heron for all the great work he does clipping this Dabbleverse, Rekieta verse, the parables of Rekieta.